Hey, what's going on? What's going on? So as we know, I guess there's a new app that's on the scene, BLK Prime, and a few people have joined them so far. One of them being Terrence Crawford, who we know, I guess he was doing a side deal to get a fight done on this platform, while he was, having negotiations with Earl Spence and PBC. I'm not sure if he was basically just using that as leverage in order to get this particular fight, to get whatever he's getting paid from this entity. But it's clear that definitely the Earl Spence fight wasn't something that he was going to go through. Got a final contract, all the changes he wanted made on that contract, and he just held on to it for a couple of weeks, and then they didn't understand what was going on. So until I guess somebody figured out was that he was doing this, they started putting out leaking information. So they went ahead and said, hey, let it be known that he's being part of BLK Prime. He's not going on with the Earl Spence fight, and he's fighting on December 10th. But since then, we haven't heard anything from him as far as this event's concerned. He hasn't promoted it in any way. He hasn't put anything on his internet site. Nothing. And this is a fight that's just in a couple of, it's not that many weeks away. December 10th is very, very close. And especially for a new entity like this, you're going to need a lot, and especially for the person that he's fighting, you're going to need a lot of, promotion for this. You would expect some kind of rollout as far as a presser sending information out. But even before all that, you would expect to at least have the fighter have the information on his website, and you would expect that he would, talk about it, say something about it, especially if they're paying it in a substantial amount of money that's supposedly paying him at $10 million, which that's still, we still got to see if that's proven to be, true or not, especially with all the misinformation that's been being put out there in the last couple of months. Um, but yeah, but so far there's been absolutely nothing. And then you have Adrian Broner, who's also joined this new entity. And he's supposed to have a three-fight deal, which I guess he's supposed to, quote, get paid $3.5 million a fight. And he's supposed to do these three fights within a 12-month period, which is, to me, is interesting. This is the same person who just, came out of a fight, which is kind of then questionable because it's supposed to be due to mental health. Now the question comes, did he have some kind of contract or some kind of arrangement that was set up? So when he's had that, he's like, you know what, let me get out of this situation so I can lock in this three fight deal with these people. So did they interfere in any way with that particular bout? We don't know, I guess, but that's something that we might, find out in the future. Um, what he, also joins, and the way that we find out is that he's on a YouTube channel. Uh, they have a banner in the back that says BLK Prime on it, and he's sitting in front of that, and he's announcing the fact that he's on this, that he's on this platform. But again, it's really weird that this is how they would do it. It seems very amateurish, and it's just also very confusing. Like, usually what happens in a situation like this, like if you saw PBC and they had their rollout, when you saw the Zone and when they had their rollout, big press conference, where all the wigs that are going to be pretty much involved in this company, they're there, or most of them. The main people are there. You got some real nice banners, nice cameras, nice presentation. Uh, Media credentials are sent to everybody so everybody knows when it's happening. Even if you were to have it online, you would expect there to be like that still that same type of thing where you have, let's say, some of the fighters along with the executives and those involved in a place where you can see all of them. Where you have you have the online thing where a lot of the media is connected, and do it that way. But that's not what happened. Like, there's nothing about this rollout so far that we have seen says, "Hey, we have $10 million to give Terrence Crawford. We have $10 million to give Adrian Broner over a three fight deal." And I'm not, of course, I'm sure that they've confirmed and they've showed these people that they have these amount of, money, the money to give them. I'm sure they've done it, but it's really confusing and it's really weird. If you look at their website, you have a website that has a lot of misspellings on the website. The website itself looks very primitive and amateurish. Um, you have social media sites that haven't been used that much. You had a lot of these weird things that were on the site as far as previous bouts that they've had. There's like, backyard boxing and that type of thing where they've erased all of that. And the only thing you see now is just the Terrence Crawford fight being shown up. It's just everywhere you turn, there's nothing about this that says, hey, we have tens of millions of dollars to give to people and we're going all out when it comes to this. Like, we're really going to make a big dent in this game. I don't see anything that makes people say, hey, that's where I want to go. And I'm sure they're going to get other fighters to also sign up. It's just, again, it's just very confusing to me with the rollout and the way they've come out. It doesn't make any sense to do one on YouTube, but then, the biggest fighter, one's on, he's introduced on a YouTube channel. And then the other one, the main guy, the flagship of this whole thing, he says absolutely nothing about the event. He doesn't post anything about it, nothing. And this is an event where he's really going to have to be hands-on to do everything he can to promote this event. And then the setup also doesn't make any sense to me. I can understand new startups, they'll do that. They'll pay someone a lot of money, and overpay them even in order to bring attention towards their brand. But what they would usually do is like, hey, subscribe to our app, subscribe to our network. You get a certain amount of months free or $10 for 6 months, something like that. Or even just, hey, we're having this event. You can come on it, free, or just log in. The first 6 months is free, and then you pay whatever the amount after that. Trying to bring in as much people as humanly possible to your website, But that's not what they've done. Like, what they're doing is they're supposedly paying him $10+ million, and what they're doing is having a pay-per-view. So you're putting yourself into a situation where somebody has to pay a substantial amount of money right away in order to even view this particular product. So for a pay-per-view, you're looking at, they want $39.99 for a very low-tier fighter that no one wants to really see like that. And you're dealing with a boxer in Terrence Crawford that usually in general doesn't bring in a lot of pay-per-views. Even when he was on big platforms like HBO, big platforms like ESPN, he still wasn't bringing in a lot of viewerships when it came to his pay-per-views. But now you have him with a very low-tier fighter that he's facing. As far as promoting so far, it's been none. Dismal to none. We haven't really been seeing anything. And somehow you're expecting to have a lot of people, gravitate to your site and purchase this particular bout. It doesn't make any sense. And you're paying him that amount of money. So you're basically paying him $10 million to what? To bring in a traffic of 20,000, 30,000 people if you're lucky? It doesn't make any sense, It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And then you see some of the executives and you go into their background and the problems that they're having, that's just a whole different other can of worms. It just brings a lot of confusion when it comes to this site. There's a lot of questions when it comes to it. And when you see a lot of certain party people that are part of this organization, is sketchy. I mean, that's the best way I can say it. It's very sketchy being involved with this particular entity. But, I guess in the long term, we'll see if their methods, their way of doing things work. People sometimes do things differently than others. And when people question it, they wonder what's going on and how it's supposed to work. But when everything comes together, then you're able to see the full picture of exactly what they're trying to do. But for right now, I'm confused. Extremely confused. But we'll see what happens with them. For now, like, subscribe, share. I'm out.